Um, any question?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so like when we apply for a scholarship in a university or a foreign university, like we have to write an essay or something, like
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 essays. So I really want to know that what should we write in our essay that will make our essay outstanding from other applicants.
For this essay, although it's not related to our presentation, but I will just give you a quick answer. Normally, schools are very specific with this question for this essay. So we call it supplement or scholarship essay, and they will ask you specific question, and you will answer that question. The only thing that you are free to be creative with your writing is the personal statement, in which you will describe about yourself, tell your story, and personal statement will make you stand out among all of the other applicants. For the scholarship essay, it's very specific. They will ask you why you choose this major, why do you need this scholarship, and you have to. My only suggestion for you is to tell your story, because they know about you, they know about your background, and they will be impressed of how you get there and how you are yearning for the knowledge that they can provide you.
Thank you very
If,
much.
mhm. Any other question? Anyone? Anything that I need to clarify from my speech?
I have another question.
Yes.
Okay, so in the section interview, you did mention what should we do as a interviewee, but I am curious about your perspective on a interviewer. What should an interviewer do to explore the full potential of the interviewee?
Um, as an interviewer, I would like to know about their story, especially, and why they are interested in my organization, because the way they are interested is how they will show how they contribute to my organization. For example, if I'm an admission officer and I do an interview with a student, I am curious of how they will contribute to my school community, and how the student can beneficial from mm, the education that my community provide. As an employer, I would be curious about why do the employee interested in working for me, and and how the employee can contribute to the project, and and how my company can help the employee growth in the long term. So what I look for as an interviewer is how we can build a connection with the interviewee, and how both sides can be beneficial from this connection. I received a question of how many Q&A do you think a presentation should have? It's very depending. It depending on the time that you are allowed for your presentation. I would say 2 to 3 questions would be enough, but for certain kind of presentation, maybe it may go up to 5. But if there are more than 5 questions, you may have to stop the audience from asking and conclude your presentation, because um, they will be sidetracked, and you may not have enough time, and the class may not have enough time for all of the presentation to go on that day. So I would suggest to have to 3 in general, and maximum 5 questions for the Q&A section. And what should we bring to an interview? You bring yourself. You bring who you are to an interview. You want to show your interviewer who you are, what you are capable of, what your strength is, what opportunity you will create for them. You don't try to bring someone from some standardized person into an interview. Your interviewer have already met a tons of people like that, and they want to find the different. They want to find someone who actually interested in the organization and make the difference. So bring yourself and bring what you can do to the interview. Any more questions? Anything that I need to clarify from my presentation, or some idea that I went too fast and you didn't catch? Alrighty. I actually received a question, where and how can I learn to do slide for presentation skillfully? My advice for you is to make use of the template that is available for you by Google Slide or Apple Keynote, and you can do some exploration with Canva, Figma. These are the application, the application that help you to do your slide more professionally and to make it look better in terms of visualization. When giving a presentation, I often worry a lot and tend to speak very quickly. Can you give me some advice how to control my speaking speed and avoid feeling nervous? To be honest with you, I speak super fast for this presentation, and because I was nervous. So my only suggestion for you is to write your script in advance and practice a lot. Practice by yourself or practice with a person you know, and ask them for their suggestion if they have any comment or they have any input into your presentation in general. And how to persuade other people and make them like you. I would say it's very depend. I have been repeatedly say that you should be yourself and you should embrace who you are, rather than worrying how you persuade other people to like you. You should like yourself more, and you should be confident in yourself. You should embrace who you are. And to be honest, this is a little negative, but I just want to note that some hater gonna hate. So if somebody is too toxic for you and they don't like you in a very irrelevant reasons, it's your time to let them go and live rightly. And I'm sure that there are more than many people who will appreciate the person you are. So don't worry about how you persuade other people to like you. Just like yourself, be confident in yourself. And I'm sure if you live rightly, you will attract more people to like you. How do people who are overthinking improve communication skill? The fact that they are shy to talk to others and make other people underestimate them and don't want to talk to them anymore. Again, and there are extrovert and introvert in this world, and in fact, there are more introvert than extrovert in this world. And it's okay if you are not comfortable with public speaking. No one is born to be a public speaker. What I suggest to you is to respect other people and make sure that other people respect you the way you deserve, and take time to get to know people and take time to communicate with them. Sometimes the relationship and communication skill will improve over time. So don't expect that as an introvert, you shouldn't expect to have a very close relationship with someone when you first met. It's impossible. But try to build that relationship and try to improve the communication with them over time. And I'm sure if you are an awesome person, and they will know about it over time, and they won't underestimate you or don't want to talk to you. Any question that any of you may have? Um, can you talk more about the connection between strengths and weaknesses that we can make to impress our interviewer and improve our story fluency? Um, every person has the strengths and weaknesses, and our strength is to be there and contribute to the community, to the social life, and our weaknesses is there for us to learn, to grow, and to be better. What we can build a connection from is why we contribute our strength to the community. We will learn something from that community, from other people in the community, and we will take that as a lesson to improve our weaknesses. What I want you to build is to impress your interviewer by building the connection between your strengths and weaknesses and their organization. You you should show them how you can contribute your strength to the organization, how you can help them optimize their efficiency or boost their reputation in the world. And with that, when during that process of contribution, you will learn something and you will make it as a lesson for you to improve your weaknesses. The next question is, should we talk to our audience before our presentation in order to establish a connection and know what they want to know when they hear our presentation? Yes, definitely. If you have time and time is on your side, it's very nice that you have a quick conversation with your audience before the presentation so that they have a sense of what you're talking about, they have a sense of who you are, and they will pay more attention to you during your presentation. And when you end your presentation and open the platform for Q&A, they will be more curious about what you talk, and your presentation will be a success. Any more questions? Should we organize a little warm-up game before our presentation? Um, it's very depend. But I would suggest you to be careful. A warm-up game is nice for a lesson, but for a presentation, it may become too funny and too hype for everyone in the room, so that they will be too focused on the game and they don't care what you talk after that. So you can have a warm-up game, but keep it simple, keep it short, and just enough for you to build connection with your audience before you start your presentation. Again, the stage is the presentation and you are the vocalist of that stage. So make sure that you don't lose the focus on that presentation. Any more questions from you all?
Okay, so
Yes.
I have another question.
Yes.
This might be silly, but yeah, like I'm a student, so there are like a wide range of kinds of teachers, and there are some teacher. So I I guess that all of my teachers, they do have a PowerPoint slides for the lessons, and yeah, all the teacher have that thing, but and they do like present they present let present their lessons in the same way, but there are cases that the student do not understand what the teacher has taught, and there are also cases that the teachers do not need like slides or something, but yeah, they just barely uh utilize their speech, but they can make all the students understand what they want to like present. So I really want to know. I really want to know how is the difference.
So let me clarify your question. You want to know the difference between having a presentation without a slide and
Okay.
the
Yes.
presentation with slide, and how effective it have to the audience, right?
Not really, but like other teachers, they do have a slide. Oh, sorry.
No, go
They
ahead. Go ahead.
are slides. So, but some teachers, they do have a good presentation for their students, but there are some there are also those who uh yeah they do not have a special, they do not have that skill, the skill to like to transmit their knowledge to the students, like my chemistry teacher. Okay, so yeah, she just barely talk very much, but we do gain a little. But my history teacher, uh yeah, she taught just a bit, but we can understand like why a whole thing from her speech. So
Mm-hmm.
I I want to know that how can we make our speech short, but the quality is so still fine.
Mm, it's very depending on the way you deliver your message. Um, Again, the slide is not the main focus of your speech. Um, the main focus is you and how you deliver the content that you want the audience to know. What the difference I can answer you between your chemistry and history teacher is history is story, is the story of the past. You have so you have better understanding because you're curious about it. You are more attentive to this to what she's saying. But for the chemistry is more scientific information, and which is not very familiar to you. It has a sub language of scientific language, and it's harder to understand. So even though both teachers have slide, one is easier to understand is because she tell you the story. The other is harder to understand is because she doesn't tell you a story, and also she has the sub language of scientific language that not very familiar to you. So it doesn't matter how the slide is. It's also depending on the way you deliver your message. Am I answer your question?
Oh yes, thank you.
Okay.
uh so another question relating to this is that
Mm-hmm.
how can we make a tedious subject like maths or physics or chemistry more appealing, like history of or literature? Like how can we make the scientific subjects more appealing and make it more pleasant to the students?
I would say if you are a teacher and you are delivering a lesson, try to incorporate some interactive game where the student can practice the the formula or the new content as a teacher, from the point of view of a teacher. For the student, I would say try to build a connection. How does that information related to your real life? For example, if you learn organic chemistry, how does it related to your real life? And with that connection, it's easier for you to understand and process and digest the information of these subjects.
Okay, thank you.
I received a question. Should we give out some kind of reward for people who answer the Q&A or contribute to our presentation through interacting with us? Yes, it depending. It's on yours. If you can give them like a few, like a cup of milk tea or something small for as a reward for the people who contribute. Yes, that's fine. It's up to you. But it's happened outside of your presentation. It's something more personal. It's not the way that you show your professionalism in the presentation. So it's something that you build a personal connection with your audience. Another question is, should we combine using the traditional board with the slide? Yes, if possible. Let me take an example from chemistry. Sometimes the information on the board on your slide is too hard to understand. For example, if you have to balance a reaction, you cannot show it. You cannot just show it, but you have to show the student how to balance it. So make use of the whiteboard is a way that you can achieve the purpose of your presentation. So use any resource or any available material you have to make your presentation easier to understand and easier for audience to digest the information. So yeah. Any other question before we end today's webinar? Should I answer the irrelevant question from my audience? Good question. What do you consider an irrelevant question? If you are talking about, if you're presenting about the history, the World War II history, but your audience asks you a question about the Cold War, then it's irrelevant question, and you can nicely reject that question. For example, this is not related to my presentation. I have the understanding about it, but I will answer you outside of the presentation. So be straightforward and be respectful to your audience. You can reject the question if it's irrelevant, but reject it nicely. Any extra question you may have? Okay, if no more question, I would like to thank you, all of you, for taking your time on a Friday night to join the webinar and listen to my presentation. And I hope you all have a very nice weekend. And if you have any question for me, or if you need more clarification, feel free to contact a Spark Prep team for the material, as well as any extra question you may have after this one. Thank you so much and have a good night.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much for joining today.
Goodbye.
Thank you for sharing with us. Have a good night.
You too.